He's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, so makes him early on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. It definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult. The understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back for round 2 of the NASCAR Super Series Trucks from Daytona. It is the dance at Daytona, and we say that in a terminology where they're going to have to be dancing to make sure that they can keep these cars on the circuit. I'm James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth this evening by Nicholas Hillebrand, who's going to come and join me for what plans to be an absolute epic evening of racing. 101 laps of Daytona. Stage 1 will be at 25 laps. Stage 2 will be at 50. And then they will have a straight run of 51 laps straight to the end of the race. Let's keep you up to date with the scores on the doors at the moment. You can see there on your screen, Dan Michel is out in front with 40 points, with 17 stage points, giving him a total of 57 points with 1 win. Tim Berry in second with 51. Noel Jackowitz in third with 46. Stephen Orrell in fourth with 14. Then we've got Danny Kazar on 39. Patrick Asiba on 38. Then Con Campbell on 38. Jamie McIntosh on 37 with David Van der Waals on 37. Levi Valls on 29 and Paul Clark on 29. Frederick Towler on 28. Then Michael LeMay and Paul LeMay, the two brothers, on 27. Ewan Stitchbury, last season's champion, on 24. And then Carl Jacquelet on 23. Stage points work fairly straightforward. It is 10 for the winner, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. It's going to be very, very exciting, this calendar. You can see on your screen, as of next time out, we go to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we've got 104 laps with stage breaks on 35 and 70. Then we go to Thompson Speedway on the 11th of the 6th, Las Vegas Motor Speedway on the 25th, and then we've got what plans to be quite an epic evening of racing with Bristol Dirt of 150 laps. Yes, I did say that right. It is Bristol Dirt. Then we're going to USA International Speedway, Michigan International Speedway, Martinsville Speedway, Watkins Glen, Talladega Super Speedway, and then we're finishing off at Phoenix Raceway. You've listened to me waffle on long enough. Let's bring Nicholas into the booth. Good evening, dear sir. How are you?
Well, thank you very much for the warm welcome. I am doing very well indeed, and who couldn't be doing absolutely fantastic, honestly, you know. Looking forward to a great evening of racing here at Daytona International Speedway. The self-proclaimed home of racing, of course, but, you know, I think the self-proclamation is actually quite accurate with this absolute Thunderdome here.
Yeah, exactly, and I think this is going to be the interesting thing with the Daytona race layout. Obviously, we're on the tri-oval. It's been in function since 1959. Turns are 31 degrees banking, tri-oval's 18 degrees, and the back straightaways only 3 degrees. Very fast flowing. The draft is important. They can't afford to lose the draft, otherwise they will drop off. One of the things I'm going to be interested in as well is whether or not we get the green flag pit stops that we've had previously, and how they're going to be able to handle the green flag pit stops here, Nicholas.
I think that'll be very, very difficult to guess. I did have a quick chat with a couple of the drivers before we went live, and as far as I've heard, if you're just driving by yourself, you can basically make 33 laps in one go. But, of course, the guys behind that will obviously be trying to fuel save, but also try to get past, obviously, to get some sweet stage points. But that basically means the first 2 stages, everyone can just go flat out. They don't have to worry about a pit stop, but the final stage from lap 51 to 101, they will have to do a green flag pit stop if there isn't a caution. And that is a very big if, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think in general, when you look at things like this and how these guys are going to be able to cope and get on with this, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I think the fact that it's going to be a full flat run, they're not going to be, obviously, you know, they're not going to be lifting unless there's a major driver in front of them. I would hope they would lift if there was a problem in front of them and somebody was maybe having a little bit of a wiggle on and you know, not careering into the back end, of course. But I think the chances of us getting through Daytona with 0 cautions, and we have stuck a poll up in the YouTube chat so you can vote on that, is quite slim. I think, Nicholas, just being nice, I think it's quite slim.
Yeah, the thing is, it looks quite simple, you know, especially Europeans, I think, have this misconception, oh yeah, oval racing, that's it's bloody easy, isn't it? You just turn left, go straight a bit, turn left, go straight a bit. But in reality, these cars have a pretty much 5.86 liter, forgive me the metric units here, and I'm going to say it in the proper units as well for this occasion, 358 cubic inch, big V8 pushrod engines with 680 brake horsepower as far as I've read. And so that means these cars are going fast. You don't have a lot of time to react, especially if there's trouble in front of you. You either pin it and choose the right lane, or you have to lift, but you don't know necessarily if the guy behind you will have the same reaction. So it's really, really difficult to gauge these situations, and I'm just looking forward to see how everyone will be reacting to these dynamic racing situations.
Yeah, that is the end of qualifying. We will bring you up the grid here very, very shortly, and we will let you know who is where. And I got a funny feeling, well, it's going to be Con Campbell out in front here with Conor Craven in second, Matty Hoyland in third with Levi Walls in fourth, then Tim Perry and Michael LeMay round out row 3. Then we've got Danny Kazar and Dan Sedgley in row 4. In row 5 is Stephen Orrell and David van der Walls there. In row 6 is Dan Michel and Carl Jacquelit. In row 7 is Paul Clark and Ewan Stitchbury. Row 8 will be Noel Jackowitz and John Bailiff. And then Frederick Towler and Paul LeMay. Terry Murphy in the 19th and 20th with Joshua Germany in that row 10 spot. Then we've got Pat Seaborn, Jamie McIntosh and Stuart Pearson, who is at the back. We've got 23 cars ready to go here. Let's see how this one pans out. Well, I'm hoping it should be a fairly decent one. I think these guys have got great awareness of around them. We've got some great established how can I put it? Great established NASCAR runners in here, the likes of Tim Perry, Dan Sedgley, Dan Michel, Ewan Stitchbury. You know, all of these guys were here last season and have run NASCARs before. Yes, we've got some new ones like our very own Stuart Pearson, but he has informed me it be okay. He said it will be okay. So let's hope. But welcome in everybody as well. Sean the Artificers Forge. Let's go, Nico. Brent Thompson, Mark Chappell, and there as well. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us for the ride. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz, because we are just about to get into 101 laps of Daytona. Stage break 25, stage break 50. Let's see what happens here as well. Nico, ideas? How many cautions do you reckon we're going to have?
Oh, I personally voted for 5 to 10 on the poll, but that's basically just, you know, the average number that I would expect at Daytona. Simply such a temple of speed, and obviously you're always hoping for the least as possible. But the nice part is these cautions, they also keep the racing interesting, they always keep it dynamic, and I think, you know, either way, we're going to have an absolutely fantastic race on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are coming round for the formation lap as well. 20 cautions. Kenton Sportac, you have got no hope. Mate, this is Europeans. We drive properly this side of the country. Come on, dude. What do you mean 20 cautions? Not a hope on that one. Not a hope. But Con Campbell is sitting on pole, yes, alongside Conor Craven. Then Matty Hoyland, Levi Walls, Tim Perry, of course, is in there. Last time out, he finished second with Noel Jackowitz in third. Now, I have taken qualifying with an absolute pinch of salt here at Daytona, and not just a pinch. I've literally got a fistful of salt, because it really isn't going to mean a lot here at Daytona, is it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be pack racing all the way through the race. But I do have to say, I always find it incredibly impressive to these guys who do get it on pole, because, as I said, it's a flat-out track. You're thinking it's very simple, but these guys that do get on pole and these that get into the front rows, they just drive this entire lap perfectly. They're not wasting a single, even fraction of a mile an hour, and just drive it completely smooth, completely perfectly down on the apron in this case. And I think in a couple of other cars, or even on a couple of other tracks, it's also, you know, the debate of high line, low line, and all that stuff. But always just fantastic to see these guys absolutely pushing it.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that's the thing with this style of racing. It's very pack-based. They are going to be lining up. We are going to be getting underway. Here they come. The trucks are coming towards us now. We're going to be up and running, and we are green flag racing here. The dance of Daytona is off and running, and these guys are flying away. Still 2 lines of Conor Craven, but with Cole Campbell. They're in first and second. Nico's trying to push it on here. We've got 3 wide further back in the middle, and I believe that is Stephen Orrell, who is in 3 wide on the outside of 777 as Michael LeMay with Carl Jacqueline there on the inside of him as well. They've got to be careful. You can't be taking this 3 wide earlier on here, because I can tell you one thing, it's not going to end well. But they're already 3 wide further back, and I believe we're probably going to have our first caution, I would have thought, unless they turn around and say no. There has been some action at the back, and no, there is not a caution on the first time here as well. Conor Craven, Con Campbell, Levi Wise, Matty Hoyland settling in 2 rows of 2. I do want to have a look back here, because I've got a funny feeling it may have something to do with Paul LeMay and Paul Clark there in that middle pack.
Oh, that was actually very lucky that it wasn't something bigger, but unfortunate, of course, for Paul Clark and Paul LeMay, because they lose out massively from this unless there's a caution relatively soon. Oh, just a very slight contact, and of course you can get tagged around so very, very quickly in these speeds.
Yeah, Joshua Germany there may have had something to do with that. He's gone on the inside of Paul LeMay. We're still 2 lines here as well. We've got the Olympus boys on the inside. We've got the 29 of Dan Sedgley. We've got the 1-2-3 of Conor Craven, and then we've got the 32 of David van der Waals trying to take up that front stretch. We've still got cars here as well. Unfortunately, Paul Clark has lost the draft. Paul LeMay has also lost the draft as well. There's a 22 coming through the middle. They're trying to make it 3 wide here. I'm not entirely sure this is the best way to go this early on.
Yeah, absolutely not, but you can always see, even when they're not directly behind each other, on these ovals you have bike graph as well, which also just pulls you closer to each other. This is why it's so quickly that these guys can have side-by-side contact and turn each other around, because you have to stay against that slide graph. But here you can see this classic little trend of 2 trains basically right next to each other. Some people will try to do a 3rd train and try to go for the front, but at the moment I don't think that's quite possible, because these 2 trains are running absolutely in sync right now, perfectly synced up to each other.
Yeah, the way I expect them to be blatantly honest, we're back here with Frederick Towler. He's part of the Olympus team as well. He's got last season champion Newton Stitchway showing alongside us here. There is you just see the top of his truck off of the cam from Frederick Towler as he's going to be going along. There's no Jacqueline, that's Michael LeMay on the outside. The 777's hit the wall. He's gone past us. Job done for Michael. He is unfortunately going to have to try and settle back in there. He does manage to muscle his way in, but it could be a bit of a problem for Michael LeMay. He needs to keep it off that outside line and really try and get onto that inside a little bit if he can here, Nicholas, because the last thing he really wants to do is get strung out 3 wide.
Yeah, absolutely, and even more than that, you saw how that light little touch already cost him so much momentum. He's definitely going to want to keep from doing that, as we have 3 wide now, just after the front stretch, heading towards turn 1 once again. And they're trying to make that outside line work, but look, that contact!
Oh, that's the 2 teammates, I believe, of Joshua Germany and the 22 of John Bailiff. They've unfortunately had contact together, which has caused them to drop down the order. That outside momentum that they did have has just gone out the window. Now they're under pressure. We've got Terry Murphy. He's trying to come through as well. Pat Seaborn, they're going to be up to the back of Paul Clark very, very shortly. This 23 machine is gone into the pits now. How's Paul, but it is still Dan Sedgley, David van der Waals, Conor Craven. It's the 3 Olympus boys at the front. Then we've got Matty Hoyland in there as well. Con Campbell, Tim Perry, Danny Kazar. They've now just got to work that line. They've got to stay up front with them 3 of the Olympus. Otherwise, they're just going to literally run away with it.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially with these 3 guys, these teammates working together. Absolutely beautiful to see as well. You can see how they're literally just bumper to bumper there. And, you know, this little bit of bump drafting is basically just working perfectly. If they can get it perfectly done, then if they might be able to break the draft to the 62 right behind them, then that could be, 52, I'm just misreading that, then that could be a very, very distinguishable advantage for them in this stage already.
Yeah, I think the thing is they've got to, if there's teammates in here, you've got to find a friend. That's the thing, you've got to find a friend and try and work with your friend. You can see Noel Jackowitz and Dan Michel, now they're part of the Breakfast Club Racing. I know them from the BSC, they'll be around a little bit later on as well. You can go and check them out for here on the BFC. They're just about to meet the back end. Levi Walls on the outside line. We've got the 21 of Danny Kazara's also pulled out. It looks like he's in a very Buzz Lightyear-esque livery there, does Danny Kazar, as he gets a bump from Levi. One of the things, obviously, same story with NASCAR as it is on trucks and Xfinities. They've got to be careful not to bump in the corners. You cannot bump in corners because you will jettison the man off in front of you at a rapid rate of knots here, Nicholas. The outside line's gathering momentum.
Absolutely, and these cars, as fast as they go, and even though they have these wings there, they do not have a lot of downforce. It's not basically like, for example, one of these hypercars nowadays in WEC, where you can have a bit of a bump and you still have downforce pushing you down. These things will go sideways incredibly quickly, and catching them, while it looks impressive, it will cost you a lot of time, as now, if I see that correctly, that's Danny Casa looking for a good run now on the outside, with the number 20 pushing off Levi Walls. Absolutely fantastic teamwork going on there against the literal team of Olympus Esports.
Yeah, the outside line, they know what they've got to do. They have to try and break up the outside line, because if they don't break up that outside line, they could be in a lot of trouble. The outside have got to try and break up the Olympus free, because otherwise it's going to be all about what Olympus can do when they work together. Danny Kazar's taken up the lead. Dan Sedgley's on the bottom in that 29 machine. He's now second. David van der Waals, Levi Walls, no relation whatsoever. I like to point that one out, I believe. I've not been told any different. I am understanding they are not related. So Van der Waals and Walls are not related. But here's the push from that lower line again. They're definitely hurting along. Them Olympus boys are definitely dragging that outside, that inside line.
Absolutely, and it's always this little mix between whether you're coming down from the banking, you obviously pick up a little bit more speed, thanks to gravity. But these guys are running the inside line, of course, a lot less distance to run. And with these guys, right bumper to bumper, they're obviously optimizing the aerodynamic drag so perfectly that they're just arrow pushing themselves along and just obviously able to get a bit of a better top speed at the moment. But once again, the outside train, 21, 20, and 17, working hard. Now actually pick up a little bit of side draft, I think, from the third Olympus car. That's Connor Craven. Now trying to get up even, and look at this run that they're having.
Yeah, these guys absolutely flying. Connor Craven with Danny Kazar is in there. Connor's at the bottom here in that 1, 2, 3 machine as well. They're still tightly packed. We've got the 22 of Paul LeMay. They've got Paul Clark in front. Them two have linked up to try and stay in front of these guys here. Once again, they do need to be very, very close. Paul has got to get a lot closer to Paul LeMay has got to get a lot closer to Clark to make their draft effective. You can see the difference from what they're working. They're pushing top half of 179, 180, near enough 180. Now, if we go down to the front, they're pushing 183 in the draft. So they've got through. Kazar has got in front. He's taken Walls with him. Sedgley's in there. Van der Waals is in there. Connor Craven's in there. Now they've kind of left Noel Jackowitz a little bit strung up on that outside line. They didn't take him with him. And now he's got to try and rely on the fact that he's going to get a push from that 23 machine.
Yeah, very difficult, of course, when they're switching over to the insides to get ahead. It's always very difficult to completely always like phase in together, because some people will get left behind, and of course Jackowitz will not want to just stay there. Now he's right on the back of the 3 Olympus cars who are now on the outside line. The little rhythm has shifted now, but on the inside you can still see how the number 20 and 21, they're struggling now. They don't have the same overspeed as the 3 Olympus cars. And now they're just getting left behind again.
Yeah, they need to be grouping up. They're too far away. If we look on the nose, they are just too far away from each other on the inside line. Now you can see how close Connor Craven is to Van der Waals. You see how Van der Waals is so close to Sedgley. Now we're going to pick up on the 21 of Levi Walls.
that is the caution, yes. In the back.
Caution number 1.
And I think that's... Who was that? The 21st race. Oh, so one of the Olympus cars got down there.
Yeah, I believe.
Actually, 2.
To do something I don't really like, but sometimes it's the easiest way of seeing what went on there. And that was further up, I believe, as well. I think that was started up with one of the Olympus boys up here. I don't think it was Dan Sedgley either. No, it was. They pushed in the corner. Oh, hi. Connor Craven. He started the initial thing. He kicked it down into the 32. He went up, and then we've got Jamie McIntosh in there. He's being bumped around like pinballs. We've got Ewan Stitchbury. He's trying to avoid everything. There's still another one on the spin. There's another Olympus in the 42. That's Frederick Towler, who then spins and gets crossed right from Steve Orrell, who takes in there as well. These two are gone. Unfortunately, the Olympus boys did not do themselves any favours, and Van der Waals, Stitchbury, Pearson and Towler all were involved in that incident at the beginning on lap 13. So big mistake from the Olympus boys on that one. It set the train off, and that is a problem when you start trying to push in a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the middle car, if I remember, that was Van der Waals. He rapidly slowed down all of a sudden, so I don't quite know what happened there. Obviously, the third car of the 3 Olympus cars got completely caught out, rear-ended him. Connor Craven, nowhere else to go there in that situation. And then Van der Waals was down on the apron, tried to get away from everything else, still got a little bit sideways, and of course, car behind him that collected him had nowhere else to go. Just really, really tricky. It's just as I said, you have no chance to avoid at these speeds. 300 kilometers an hour, or 180 miles an hour. Yeah, well, in the proper units for this sport.
We've got a report is that Van der Waals just completely lost his engine. Let's have a listen. Yeah, no power. No, he's just trying to get it stopped. He's just a passenger at that point. Van der Waals has gone bang. And I'm wondering, that's not quali session related there, Dan, is it? He ain't got tape over his front end that's caused his water to spike.
Oh, that would be... I mean, that is something that could happen easily.
Yeah, if he's got his qualifying session on, he would have had tape across the front to reduce the airflow. He's not going to be able to have that speed. Did he leave his quali session on, the quali setup on, or not? But actually, to be fair, it's a fixed setup. There shouldn't be any issues with that.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to tell sometimes.
It's very difficult, the fact that he's gone bang already. I'm quite surprised that he's gone bang early on.
Yeah, it was really, really awkward as well, because there was no prior warning. It just instantly went off, almost like Lewis Hamilton's engine at the Australian Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they're in a fixed setup, and none of them should be going too close to me, I think. Okay. That could explain a lot there. Yeah, I think the airflow, he needed to start ducking out a little bit there, Dan, to get the airflow out and start bringing that cooling down on that water and that engine. Otherwise, that would be what's going to happen. Pushing too hard. You're only on lap 13. Cool, blimey. Paul Clark is back in the pit lane again. This time, Van der Waals is in there. He's been in there for 3 minutes and 21 seconds. For him, he did make it back to the pit, so I believe. There is fast repairs, so they should be able to have fast repairs. There's 2 of them. So unless he's not selected that fast repair, it could be the reason why he's still in the pit lane for David Van der Waals there. So, yeah, interesting one here, I think, as well, because that's given some of the guys at the back able to get their laps back as well. The likes of Clark, he's still running around trying to catch up now as well. So Paul Clark is the number 22 on your track map there. He's still running around. There he is in his famous 24 liveried machine truck. A great job from him there. Dan Sedgley there, still out in front. The lights are out. They are going to be green this time around. We will have a chat with a driver at the next stage break in 9 laps. Nicholas, it's going to be a straight sprint to the stage now for these guys.
Absolutely. And as you said, as infuriating as it is for Van der Waals, who's now out of the pit lane, if I see it correctly. Yes, the pit crew has repaired his car completely now. It's all the better, though, for Paul Clark and, of course, Paul LeMay, who both, after that first collision where we didn't get a caution, both of them just lost a lot of ground and now finally back in the mix, actually. And Paul Clark even got his lap back, so... we thought how hopeless it looked back then. So maybe for Van der Waals, next caution that comes around, he probably still has an ability to get some of these places back.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever over. That's the thing with this kind of racing. I don't think there's ever going to be a problem. He's got 2 laps. I'm expecting him to be able to achieve that back quite quickly, but let's get you up and running once more again as we're going to be going over the line here at Daytona. Here they are for the dance at Daytona. Who's going to come through? First caution's finished. We've got a 9-lap run to stage number 1, going into the Geico restart zone now as well. We're back up and running and we are green. Once more. Away we go. Danny Kazar is currently leading the front end here as we're looking back now. This is Danny Kazar. He's in second place on the outside line. Dan Circley's there once again on the inside line. This time with Levi Walls right behind him. So Dan's got to make sure he can stay out in front. He's got no help at the moment. He has got a car there with him, but it's a little bit further down. I believe that's the 1-2-3 of Connor Craven. It is, and he's on the outside line. Olympus kind of looking a little bit fractured at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We had it earlier, of course. They were so strong in that 3-pack that they had at the front, but of course now one of the members is just gone. And of course you have to readjust your entire timing, your entire rhythm in your teamwork. Of course you have to first get the team back together. It's Connor Craven is now sitting a couple of positions back, and of course he won't want that too much, but what choice does he have right now?
Well, that's the thing, I think. He's got the Danny Kazar. I believe you are right in the YouTube chat there as well. The 52, well, you can see he has got damage as he saw us coming towards us here as well. Wants to the point where we're actually in the inside of his engine box there. So great camera shot on that one. Yes, the 52 has got damage as these guys coming along that inside of turn 3 now, through out of 4, coming down into the tri-oval. What an absolute gaggle of cars they've got here, and they're doing an absolute stellar job with all of these guys keeping this on track. 9-lap run to the stage now. This is where you really want to start getting these points on the board. Start moving into position, getting ready for that 5-lap run to stage.
Absolutely, and you want to stay consistent here. You want to keep that position and stay in those top 10s, because these points, of course, if you have the most stage points, you will be allowed into the final for the championship in the end. One of 6 spots that's fighting for the championship, as now the number 20 is dropping back hard.
Oh, that was Levi. Whoa, big rag in the middle. No, Connor Craven's in there as well. Everybody checks up. The 52's in there. Oh, caution number 2 on lap 19. Oh, man.
And I think this is one of those classic phrases now, which I think is a bit despised in racing, but cautions breed cautions. It really is like that, isn't it?
Oh, look at the flick. You can see the 52 run high, and then Connor Craven come underneath. There was contact of McIntosh. He bounces him out. Craven goes for the gap, pushes him on the right-hand side. Connor Craven, not the way to do that. Not the way, and then he's just ended up putting himself in the wall. That's the thing, right? A slight little back out from Connor Craven that might have saved all of that issue. He only had to lift just a little bit to stay off that bumper. You can see here comes Paul Clark. I want to pick up on what happened to him, because it looked like he was ended up involved. I think he just slowed right down, to be honest with you, did Paul. Stayed out of the trouble. He wiggles around there. Great job from him. There's still a car there. That's one of... No, Michael LeMay.
Oh. He's already slowing down completely, but can't avoid it there at that point.
No, he can't avoid that as well. 52 needs to push Danny. Well, well, it was the 1-2-3 that gave him a push there. Conor Craven did give him a little bit of push, but pushed the 52 straight, unfortunately, up into the world. Subscribed, liked, and shared with DES League. Thank you, Brent Thompson Racing there. Much appreciated. You can see the state of Con Campbell's car. It looks battered, doesn't it? It's got nothing on it.
Completely crabbing from side to side. In all fairness to Conor Craven, though, I think even if he had backed off, we would have still seen a wreck, because right on his tail was Noel Jakovitz in the 17, and I think that might have played a little bit of a role there, simply because the car in front of him lost a little bit of momentum. Of course, Conor Craven has to stay in there, and right behind there, you see that just there, Jakovitz now going to the inside as well, actually timing that perfectly, pretty much, just as the 52 starts coming around.
Is that this?
I think the 17 just slightly hit him there.
Yeah, it's at this moment here he needed to back. He's got a little bit of room, just lift a little bit, because all you're going to do is you're going to cause McIntosh to come across. Then you've got Campbell's come across, then into Craven, and that's the thing. That slight little lift. There's the number 4 of Joshua Germany. You are not avoiding that one whatsoever here. Then Carl Jacklit's into the mix. The 78 of Seaborn's in there. The 777 of Michael LeMay. You know, he could have just saved himself with one slight little bit of a lift. Let's have a chat with one of the drivers here as well, who's out on the race circuit at the moment, our very own Mr. Tim Perry. Tim, how are you?
Yep, fine, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, bud. How's it been out there so far?
Yes, it was going really well, and then there's been a few little 2 crashes now, so I think my car took a little bit of a scrape that time, but I think we should be fine.
Yeah, I think we could be all right as well. What's the aspects, Tim? Are you just trying to kind of stay up front, stay on track, and hope for the best?
Yeah, I kind of pitted last time just because I thought I might be putting myself in a good position for the next stage, but now I think, basically it's so close now to the end of the stage. Just got to keep track position really, so that's my plan. Try and score some stage points, but obviously it's a long race, so we're not doing anything stupid.
Well, you're only going to get 3 laps under green, sir, and then the stage is going to be here as well. So we look forward to seeing how you get on there, bud. Sitting at the moment in 5th place. Let's see what you can do by the end, Tim, and we'll catch up with you later on.
Yep, should be a good little sprint this.
Good. Enjoy yourself, mate. Take care. Well, there you go. That was our very own Tim Perry, the admin of the Truck League as well. So thanks so much to him for all the work he's put in. Dan Sedgley, we've got a 3-lap sprint to the end of stage here. This could get a little bit messy.
Oh, absolutely. In these 3 laps, I think especially in the top 10, at the upper ranks, and even more so, I'd say, just at the edge of the top 10, you know? So my looks at Stitchbury, Bailiff, at Murphy, at Seaborn, you know, all these guys will want to get at least 1 point from this little bit here. Because, of course, you know, on the one hand, you're saying, oh, well, you know, 1 point, but still, it is 1 point, and especially for the stage points, that will never hurt over the next couple of races of the season as well.
Yeah. Stage points are important. We have made it where stage points are important. Tim's come up with a great little idea for the end of the season. It's not just the championship points. There's a lot more involved. We'll tell you after this what happens here on lap 22. Mark Chappell, one more caution before the end of stage, anyone? No, we don't want that. We want to go straight 3 laps to stage. Let's see what happens here and whether or not these guys are going to be able to... Mark, don't curse it, bud. Don't, please. You can't do that to me. But here we go. Barney the flag bearer, he's going to be there. He's going to be waving. Into the Geico restart zone we go once more. Cautions number 2. We are up and running. It is green. There was a big pull out by further back as well. Who is that? I believe that is the 52 machine, I think, again, of Connor Craven. Is that what that is there as well? No, it's the 27 machine of Paul LeMay, who had a big move right after that restart. He's got his brother Michael right behind him. Here we go. We've got a 3-lap run to the end. It's end of the lap. It's not the beginning. And at the moment, it's needing that outside line. They've got to push a little bit here, Nicholas. They're not making inroads currently.
Yeah, really, really difficult, of course. And you see, oh my God, I'm getting nervous here with all this wiggling. You see how close they are there. That's, I think, the 44 and the 83, right nose to tail. And a hit like that caused the last big wreck. So please be careful, guys.
Yeah, I do fully agree. As they're going to come out there as well. Now we're on that stage run, lap 24. It is one more lap. It is the end of the lap. And if they've read the rules, they will be fully aware that it is the end of the lap, not the beginning. So let's see what happens here. Con Campbell's dropped off a little bit. I think his car could be literally done here. He needs a push from that 32 of David van der Waals, but it is Dan Sedgley out in front now as well. Round turn 4 we go. They're going to be jostling for position. The outside line of the 21 with Kazar. Then Bailiff there as well. Dan Michel's along the outside. There's another Olympus trying to push along. There's lots of wiggling and weaving here. We're making jumpers. They've got to go one more. They know it's not the end of the lap. If anybody checks out, it's not the beginning, it's the end of the lap. Where this stage finishes, it's not the beginning. So if anybody checks out thinking it's the end, it's going to be all wrong. They've all been told this before. Dan Sedgley, Danny Kazar, Levi Walls, Bailiff, Pearson, he's even in there as well. The number 55 has just showed his head. He's come right from the back of the field now as well. Nicholas, last 2 corners here for the stage.
Last 2 corners and the outside brake going really well. And oh my God, that's the big one again.
Oh, that will be stage. It will be stage.
Oh, goodness me.
That will be stage there. Danny Kazar will take that stage with Connor Craven. We're going to have to decide from the rest of the top 10 after that. I think Dan Michel should be in 3rd here. But that will be the stage end break there. And well, they just nearly managed it. Oh, let's go back a little bit. Going to keep an eye on what went on here as well. There's movements from Dan Michel in that 25 machine. He's got the 22 tucked up there. Ah, he's on that inside. He's got a push from Craven there. A big push from the 1-2-3. Oh, was there contact? I can't quite work out if there was contact there.
I think it was contact, but just slightly at the wrong angle. As we said earlier, like these cars can spin out so quickly at these high speeds. And the 22, I think, just got caught right on the corner. Of course, these rear axles, of course, are a lot more difficult to control as well. They're live axle rear suspensions, they're truck arms. So, yeah, really, really difficult to catch these when they're going into the slide. And you can see here, Bailiff just going to move over a little bit further to the right, right here. And now there's the contact, I think.
Yeah, it's going
to come. And then there's a little bit more of a contact here, just as he moves a little bit further across. That's just unlucky for the number 29 here.
Yeah, we got the race on pit lane happening as we speak. Who's going to come out on pit road in the lead here? We've got pretty much everybody in the pits. The only ones who is not out: Connor Craven, Joshua Germany, Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, Tim Perry's in, Danny Kazar's in, Con Campbell stayed out. You can see who's in the pits. Pretty much the majority of the field. There's half a truck coming down towards us here. There's Ewan Stitchbury. He's in. And that is one of the Olympus boys again. I believe that might be Dan Sedgley, who's going to get his truck repaired. There you go. He is done it there as well. Danny Kazar has recovered out of pit lane. He's managed to take, I believe, over well, I say the lead. He's sitting in 6th. We got the race off pit lane with Tim Perry, Stuart Pearson, John Bailiff, and Levi Walls. But it is all about Connor Craven here and what he's going to do. Mark, you jinxed it. And maybe we can have a chat. Where is Con Campbell? There he is, in that 52 machine. We can see if we can have a chat with Con here, who's up in the booth. Con, it's James up in the booth. Buddy, have you got me?
I got you, James.
How you doing out there, bud?
I'm doing good, buddy. didn't want to burn that fast repair, but I had to do it, so worked out good. I got the pit and stayed out under this stage caution, so try to get back up front again.
Yeah, it was a tough one, that first incident. How did you see it?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Things happened so fast here. It looked like I was trying to go 3 wide, and I really wasn't. Kind of backed out of it. Probably shouldn't have, and everything just squeezed together. But I'd have to see a replay. I'm not sure if I did anything wrong. I apologize, but it just happened real fast.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. It did rapidly take place, and you're going at such a speed. There's no guarantees that anything's going to be avoidable, as we both know. When you're trucking and you're so close together, it's difficult to avoid the cars in front here as well. What do we think the aspiration's going to be, Con, for the rest of the race, dude? How do you think you're going to get on?
Well, I'd like to stay up front here and get some stage points for the second stage, and then to see how the second half plays out. I really want to take care of my truck. Obviously, I got 1 fast repair remaining. Don't really want to use it, and just see how things shake out towards the end. Just kind of, you got to survive in these things. Have a little bit of luck and a lot of patience.
Yeah, well, we've got Brent Thompson Racing in YouTube chats cheering you on there as well. So I don't know if you know Brent, but he's cheering you on there, Con.
I know Brent. Brent's one of my buddies I race with on DES Racing League, and hopefully a few of those guys are watching. If so, I appreciate it, and I think they're becoming fans of your guys' broadcast too, so we're just kind of spreading the word about each other.
Awesome stuff. Well, buddy, have a good one, mate. You're going to be back under green very shortly, dude. Good luck. Let's see you in that top 5.
Thanks, James.
Take care, bud. Well, there you go. That was Con Campbell there, sitting in 5th. As he says, Nicholas, he's got 1 fast repair to go. Doesn't really want a V8 burning it this early on. Do you think he can get the top 5?
Ooh, I absolutely think he could remain there. I mean, I just find this rhythm absolutely beautiful, because earlier on, the 52 obviously still hadn't used the fast repair before the stage. And you could see how, Con was just trying to keep up with the rest of the pack, and even with someone pushing him, just no chance, too much damage on that truck. But now with the fast repair back in the mix, and obviously completely hit his marks for that pit stop, and now back up in the top 6 again. And I think he put it basically just perfectly. He has to be lucky, has to survive, he has to be aware of his surroundings, and I mean, he's the highest ranking American in the field right now, so he's going to be more familiar with oval racing.
Well, that's what you'd have thought, but we go into the Geico restart zone once more. Connor Craven gets us underway. Joshua Jennings as well, as these guys start the run now from 29 to 50. They've got a 21 lap run. Michael LeMay is in there. He has got Danny Kazar behind him. Michael's got to hold it in that 7-7. He's going to come down on him. Stay out! Stay out! Yowzers!
Still got to keep it 3 wide.
Man, that is the problem when you're on that outside line. Look at the 7-7. He's dropping faster than a stone in the ocean due to the weight of that truck and that draft. And he's literally just going backwards faster than he's going forwards here. He's got to get that truck in line with Stuart Pearson in that 55. He's got to get that done. As you can see, the guys up front, Germany, Kazar, Walls now wiggling all around. They've hung out Germany. He's literally just been sat there. He's like, good night, Vienna. Now the others are going to come in as well. Still keeping it 2 wide, 2 lines of 2. Obviously, we saw Michael LeMay get a little bit strung out there. Not an ideal scenario for him. And we can see Noel Jakowitz in that 17 machine. He's tagged on to the back as well. Dan Michel in that 17th place is just kind of sat there at the moment. Not a lot he can do, as we got 20 to go till the end of the stage.
Yeah, definitely not ideal for him. But also, just in general, that lower line looked a lot faster than the top line. So the top guys just got swamped completely there by that momentum. That I think there was Danny Kasser who was able to pick that up in the 21, just as he ran earlier. And yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dan Michel's got to try and catch on. We've got this gap, this group here. These 5 could do with being in a line. Terry Murphy, Jamie McIntosh, Paul Clark, Van der Waals. They can all do with nestling in. You're not going to make an inroad being that many cars wide. You've got to start getting into that line. 5 will go fast, but you've got to get in a single file and just follow each other. There's nothing you are able to close up on if you do not sit in that single line, Nicholas. I think that's one of the things they've got to learn here, especially at this backpack. They've got to sit in that single file line.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, at the same time, it's also just this little possibility here, or well, waiting for the possibility to slot in. Because obviously, if you lift off completely, or if you lift off a little bit too much, you very quickly lose momentum. You don't want to surprise the guy behind you. And, just finding that rhythm, finding the right moment to drop in. And, that's when you're getting a little bit loose there for a moment while touching the apron. These guys will have to get the perfect timing, work onto the fact that the guys in front are still battling, and then try to get that 5-man train going. Maybe pick up the 2 cars up ahead that are in 16th and 17th. That's Jakelowitz and Michel. So, ideally, these guys could get a 7-car train running, but less than ideal right now. It doesn't seem that way at the moment, while the front is going a bit further and further away.
Yeah, they managed to drop off 16th place Noel Jackowitz, but I do wonder if there's a little bit of teamwork going on here with these boys. They are part of the Breakfast Club, Darren Michel and Noel Jackowitz, and I would not be surprised, considering Noel has given up the draft with the main pack. I would not be one bit surprised, and I do say this honestly here, if he is slowing down for Darren Michel to try and catch up and tag on to the back. But this pack here, they can make inroads if they can just get into that single file area. They've got to get into that single file line, otherwise they're just going to get strung out. Stitchbury's losing the pack just a little bit as well. There's Matty Hoyland in the mix. Michael LeMay's in there still. Still Connor Craven out in front. They're starting to break away from each other, and little packs developing here. But I suppose on the upside, that could be good for the fact of caution situation, as Pearson got all a little bit wiggly. Sort it out, gentlemen. And they have managed to sort it out, but that's fractured the pack a little bit more as well, Nicholas.
Oh, that was proper close again for Levi Walton, the number 20 as well. Once again, going a bit onto the apron and getting very, very loose as he now gets a push from Joshua Germany behind him. And Germany, obviously, after being pretty much left for dead just now on the outside lane, he's desperate to get back up. Now he's on the inside lane. He's got the draft, and he's slowly working his way past the outside lane guys. And I think he's just very, very keen to get this train on the inside now further forward. But of course, everyone just has to have this perfect input here. Everyone has to completely balance throttle, steering input, and just be completely aware of their car and their surroundings.
Yeah. Surroundings is the big one. We got 15 to go. Jamie Mack is damaged. J-Mac has had 0 luck. That's the thing when you come into these situations, Mark. When you're coming into Daytona, you're coming in with 23 trucks on the race circuit, and your chances are you've got to make sure that you make your own luck and try and be sensible. And there's no way of being sensible, because you could go up front, and we've seen it happen. You go at the rear, and you've seen it happen as well. There's just no safe place on a super speedway like Daytona to try and hide away from anything.
Yeah, absolutely. While, it's not quite as claustrophobic as something like Bristol, where we're visiting later with the dirt track. Still, you just have no space here, because there's the cars so much closer together at this high speed. I'd argue at Bristol you can almost react a little bit better as well. And is that with caution?
Yeah, Pat Seaborn.
Oh, there is a big wreck. That's P15, I think.
Yeah, Pat Seaborn. What did you do, dear sir? Oh, who's that 27 there coming up? Quite look at the gap.
Oh, no.
Look at the gap between them all there. Unfortunately, the internet may have played a part on that one. Seaborn's gone round. He's collected Stitchbury. Stitchbury's collected Michael LeMay. Who's coming into the background of all of this? Did these guys manage to avoid what they're going to be coming into. I think they're quite far around. There's Stitchbury, Van der Waals. It's all happening up there in the corner.
I think these guys knew what was coming at them.
Yeah.
Obviously making their way past the pace truck now. And I think everyone was moving already again, but God, like, really brutal. You could see the impact on both of those trucks. You could see basically the suspension breaking, I think. So I think that's going to be, well, probably another use of the free repair here.
Yeah, I do fully agree with you, Reserve. Why we're there, guys? We're going to take a brief minute break while you listen to one of the drivers here as well, and that is from our very own Matty Hoyland.
Last season, and the guys always put on a really good show, so I'm hoping I can help add a little bit to that, get involved, get stuck in and help the ORA guys out and help Mr. Stitchbury try and defend his title.
Okay, that is our very own number 44, Matty Hoyland there as well. Favourite track, Talladega, Nicholas. Quite a brave statement, considering Dega, the super speedway, you know, the home of, well, just about every possible big one that I've possibly seen, to be honest.
I mean, he'll feel right at home here. I mean, Daytona, of course, one of the biggest racetracks in the world in general, you know, opened in 1959. It's a very big track in itself, 2.5 miles long. But Talladega, you know, I can understand the appeal, honestly, you know. The track that when it opened, it scared drivers. It terrified them. And, you know, there's always this appeal to the dangerous, I think, especially when you're doing racing. Whether it be virtual or real, you always want to be at somewhere where you can be going as fast as possible.
Yeah, I do agree there. You and Stitchbury, zero luck. Yes. You have had, unfortunately, a bit of a rough one, dear sir, there as well. Ashley Brooks, let's go Hoyland. Well, at the moment, Matty Hoyland sitting in 7th place in that ORA machine here. So great job from Matty, and I'm sure he will do rather well. And hopefully, new to NASCAR, mind you. Not been driving it very long. He's on the same team as Mr. Stitchbury for the ORA Motorsports team. So, not driving NASCAR very long. And the first racetrack he does do, because he wasn't here last time out, is a super speedway in a truck. That's a tough baptism of fire, isn't it, really?
Oh, I would actually absolutely say so. I mean, they may not be as fast as the Cup Series cars, but I'd say honestly, since you can get so close with these cars, and you know, even with, you know, hot take, with lower power, you usually have closer racing, and then in this case you have, you know, even closer packs, as we saw, where stuff can escalate even quicker, especially when they go 3 wide. It's quite a baptism of fire. It's in German we have a saying called "vom Regen in die Taufe," from rain into the Baptist pond, so to say. But I'd say in this case the Baptist pond is basically filled with lava. So.
Yeah, I agree. I do love Dainty there. Come on, be a little bit more positive. Can we all agree that the MVP is the safety truck? Come
Absolutely.
on. Be a little bit more positive than that. Yes, we know, you know, look, we're only 4 cautions in, right? And one of them was staged, so there's only 3 forced cautions, which I'm going to take as a win at the moment, because if you'd have watched the European Truck Series, the Cup Series last season, it got a little bit scrappy until they went all green at Pocono, and then they turned around, and then every race after was absolutely incredible. So, of course, we got new drivers in the mix as well. So there's going to be that situation where over the first couple of weeks there's been a little bit of a rough beginning, baptism, should we say, jumping from the fire into the frying pan. So let's pick up on Barney the flag bearer once more here, as we're going to get on lap 39. It's going to be up and running. The green flag is down. They are green here, and it is up and running once more as these guys get underway. Stu Pearson leads them away with Kazar sitting in second. Then the Olympus of Dan Sedgley. Then we've got Matty Hoyland. Then we've got the outside line that consists of John Bailiff. Then Levi Walls and Stephen Orrell. They cannot be looking to drop off early. They want to try now and really stay together as best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, you see how they're instantly closing back together. But very nice little footage here from Matty Holland. Just very, very gently slowing down so he doesn't hit the back of, I think that's the 29. A bit difficult to see with the compress, partly. But yeah, like just slowing down a little bit so he doesn't hit the 29 too hard, and obviously doesn't give some instability as we have. I think that is 68, just having a little bit of a weave there.
Yeah, these guys are getting a little bit wiggly. We're coming into 9th to stage. Stu Pearson still leads us the way. Are we going to get a stage win from Mr. Pearson himself here? And let's see how he gets on. John Bailiff's on the outside. He's going to try and make sure he doesn't get that. The group are very together at this moment in time. They are very together. There you can go. You can just see Jamie McIntosh on the right-hand side just dropping off a little bit, but it's still got the opportunity. If he can draft his way in, he should be able to make it through. But here comes the guys round that tri-oval. They're free wide now as well. Steve Oles decided enough is enough is enough. He's got to try to send it free wide. Is he going to be bullied out by the Olympus boys? There's a lot of muscling and jiggling here. Poor old Oral's been sent out. There's nowhere for him to go back in. Jackowitz made sure of that as well. Is Dan Michel going to make sure of that? Once again, he's going to leave. Is he going to give Oral room to get in here? I'll be very surprised if he does. There's a little bit of a checkup coming from out front at the moment. Oh,
big one.
Take to the grass. Paul Clark quizzes me up. He's like, nope, I'm on the brakes. Stop in. I am not going anymore. Go, Paul. Love it. Right, we will decipher that one, but I've got a funny feeling there was contact in there as well from Mr. Connor Craven. Did Oral, the question was, Oral got strung up on the outside there, Nick, right? And that's the problem. I think when, at the moment he got strung out, it didn't really leave him anywhere to go. You can see how close the four are in front. Now, it's whether or not the 32 machine there was David van der Vols. Did he come up? Oh, he did. Look at that. Oh,
yeah,
he come up into a
light touch.
Yeah. Van der Vols.
That's just always this difficulty. You know, as soon as you go three wide, obviously you can also try to get side rep from two different sides, but obviously you have also a lot less room to operate with, and as soon as you're like slightly loose, and I think he was just a little bit unstable after that little touch with the car in front, just swung over a little bit too far into the 68, and yeah, that set up a huge chain reaction here.
Yeah, I just want to see this from Paul Clark's. I want to listen to see. You can see there. There you go. Oh, he's on the brakes so hard. Paul Clark didn't even try and pick a way through. He just hit the brakes. And that is probably, Nick, how you avoid a massive wreck at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. That was very quick thinking there. As soon as he saw Parth flying, just instantly slowed down. And in this situation, it worked, unfortunately, as we saw in the last caution. I don't quite remember who it was. Like, just slowed down almost to a crawl, and then from, I think it was the 123 or 777, one of the triple number cars that tried to rejoin, but just at the wrong time.
Yeah, that was Michael LeMay, unfortunately, there as well. Let's we'll have let these guys go, get to the end of stage, and then we'll have a chat to one of the drivers. We've got Stuart Pearson, who stayed out, did not pit on lap 26. Tyre wear, this is the thing with a super speedway. Tyre wear is really kind of going to be minimal. You haven't got sort of the Kansas-esque drain of your tires, or Martinsville, where you're scrubbing the outside right constantly trying to get it turned. Daytona's a little bit softer on the tires, Nick, and I think they could get away at times without pitting here, and I think some of them probably should look at taking that option.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, you have to look at it strategically as well. You obviously don't want to blast through your tires too quickly, especially this early in the race. We haven't finished stage 2 yet. And the final stage will obviously be, the rest of the race, the second half, the most difficult part of this entire situation here. So I think everyone is just, even when they had some spins, they're trying to gauge, whether they shouldn't maybe change tires, whether they should maybe try to keep up. But of course, these tires in these extreme situations, and even with the slightest pokes, of course, as soon as they're damaged, they will, of course, let you know far quicker.
Yeah, I do agree. I'm wondering what happened to Con Campbell. He's back in the pits again. Did he get caught up in that incident? I don't know if I'm going to get necessarily time here. Yes, Con's on the inside. Dan Michel's coming across, and unfortunately collects him there. Does he stay out of the wall? Nope. No. So Con would have looked at burning that second fast repair, but we're going to be up and running here again. They have 2 quick fixes. Yes, sir. 2 quick fixes.
It's just heartbreaking. He was here earlier. He said, you need some luck in it as well. And yeah, in this situation, there was nothing he could have done. And yeah, as easy as it said, his luck just ran out in that situation.
This is the thing with NASCAR as well. It's not just about being able to turn left. It's where Lady Luck wants to shine her hat almost on you, because you've got to think that there's so much so much luck involved, and so much of this racetrack can cause a problem, Nick. And I think overall they've got to try and be sensible for this next 5-lap run to stage if they can. If they can make it to the end of stage 2 without any problems, we will find out very, very shortly. But let's get you up and running again. Barney changes his flag to the green flag here now. The pace car's going to peel into the pits. This is it. Can they make this 5 laps before the end of stage? We're back up and running. Bailiff's going to get him away. It's green, green, green. Well, let's see what goes on here as well. They've got to be a little bit more sensible than they have done. Bailiff made a jump and a half, but he is going to come back in very, very quickly with that pack racing behind him. Still a lot to play for here, Nick. 4 to go. Let's see how they get to the end of stage 2.
Absolutely, and once again, the outside line here with the number 20 at the helm. Levi Waltz making absolutely phenomenal progress forward. And of course, with the draft partner who's pushing him forward absolutely fantastically. Now, though, on the inside, 3 cars, 22, 55, 17, and 17, of course, Noel Jakovitz at the moment, points-wise, 3rd place in the total points standings. So he's definitely going to be looking get some more of these stage points, and at the moment, compared to the guys ahead of him, he's looking for an absolutely fantastic position with that.
Oh, the 4's just gone trying to go past Terry Murphy. Murphy sandwiched in the middle. Is he going to be able to get... Oh, he gee whiz, that's probably erring more on the side of caution there. There's the backpack of McIntosh, Paul Clark, Matty Hoyland's in there. You've got the 1, 2, 3 of Connor Craven, but Bailiff at the moment is doing a great job out in front here. Is he going to be able to hold this, though? That's going to be the question. There's still a lot of racing to go, and I think all in all, it's very, very tough racing here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. And the race of attrition, not just for the cars, but also for your mentality. You have to be constantly on edge, and oh my goodness me, look at how loose that car got.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, that was Stuart Pearson in that 55. There's somebody on the inside trying to send it free wide. Dan Michelle's coming through now as well. Bullied out the 21. Noel Jacquez is on the inside. Don't take out your teammate. As Jacquez and Dan Michelle are both teammates here within that Breakfast Club racing, but you can see the squareliness. Pearson's got to keep it straight. He's just about to be pushed. There's a back marker there as well. Down in 18th, does Van der Waals. He's got to break away.
Next one. And I'm pretty sure that's stage over, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be.
Oh, just unlucky.
Yeah, it looked like it was again the run of Dan Michelle. Got up the inside, trying to send it free wide. Essentially, I believe that's essentially in that 23. Has come down on top. It was essentially. And that will be a stage break on lap 48. So, tough ride for these guys at the moment. So that will leave our Walls, should do, as stage winner. We'll have to try and decipher this, because there's a lot of both stages have been a little bit scrappy, but I think the thing is, it's like anything, isn't it? Oh, John Bailiff, you're going backwards. How did you end up going backwards? Dan Michelle come obviously after the contact initially, and then Bailiff's in the wall, and then just buried. Oh, the 40. That's new. As the full car of Joshua Germany just goes straight through John Bailiff there. Here we go. In the inside. Out the other side. Well, that's new.
Yeah, phase shifting. And who says that NASCAR isn't innovating anything?
Yeah, exactly. Who said they can't make it exciting? They've just put a car in front of another car. Is that race on pit road once again? Danny Kazar, Paul LeMay stayed out. Levi Walls is at the front. There is Con Campbell still, I think, in the pits for 8.5 minutes here. Oh, Tim Perry's got the jump on pit road. He got the jump on pit road over Levi Walls. So, great move from Tim Perry in that 83 machine there. That it will be the end of stage as well. Con's not giving up. We'll be back up there in no time. Okay, bud. Mark Chappell restarts a slow from the front. Maybe. Con Campbell is out. He is out. He is 6 laps down, but he is out. So, Con repping. Not entirely sure if he didn't have his second fast repair turned on at that moment in time, or what the situation was, but at the moment Paul LeMay is going to lead us away for this 51 lap run-in here, Nicholas, as well. It's been a tough one, isn't it, so far?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in this situation, I think it was just a bit of miscommunication. I'm thinking Dan Michel thought probably that the gap was big enough, but obviously, you know, going that late for making it 3 wide, not everyone expects it. And in that situation, yeah, it's difficult to react. It was a very narrow gap to begin with. So, yeah, just one of these moments when you're just trying your best, you know, you have all this overspeed, you have to try and go somewhere. And you obviously, at the end of the stage, you know, if you have that overspeed, you don't want to just sit there and basically rot behind another guy and let them get some more points than you.
Exactly. I think we will have a chat, which I believe will be stage 2 winner, Levi Walls. Levi, welcome in, buddy. Well done.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Having fun out there?
What did you say?
Are you having fun out there, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm having fun, yeah.
All right. Stage 1, stage 2 winner as well. Get your 10 points on the board.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, it definitely is good, dude, as well. I think, you know, any points on the board when you ain't even finished a race, I think is always good. What's the aspirations for the race, Levi? Where do you see yourself ending up?
Hopefully first.
Okay. Well, positive. Positive. God, Levi, this has been an hard one, mate. Positive thinking there, bud, as well. What have you got to do to try and get up there, though? Because there's been a lot of misfortune for some of the drivers.
I'd say stay at least in the second row. Don't go further than that.
Okay. Well, Levi, good luck. Let's see if it works. You're going green this time around as well. Straight run now, 50-lap run to the end. What do you reckon? No cautions.
At least 3, I think.
Oh, okay, mate. Well, let's see what happens, bud. Have a good one. We'll catch you at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There's Levi away now as well. God, blimey. Let's see how they get on once again here, Nicholas, as well. 50-lap run to the end. It's going to be a tough one, right?
Yeah, I definitely think this is going to be the point where it's going to be most difficult for the drivers to keep their position, to keep everything together. And, well, if we have had all of our cautions out of our system now, then we'll need a green flag pit stop. So it's going to get very, very interesting now.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, look at this one here. And see if we can get this up and running. Pace cars in. Come on, boys. 50-lap run to the green flag, to the checkered flag. It's green, green, green. Paul LeMay is at the front of the queue here. Tim Perry's on the outside. Levi Wolves is in there. Paul Clark has found himself from being 2 laps down, sitting in 4th at the moment. And that is exactly the thing within NASCAR.
Absolutely. And once again, like you see at the start here very, very often, that the rows first spread out a little bit, and then as soon as there's a little bit of rhythm in there, as soon as they're all basically up in 4th gear, they're all ready to just attack, or ready to go back closer together as, well, Joshua Germany tried to go for the outside row, but that really didn't quite work out with him. Didn't have a draft buddy, and now he's obviously trying to make Levi Waltz his draft buddy here as they try to get the outside line back forward again.
Yeah, I think as long as you can find a little bit of a buddy, you might be okay. You know, you can see the 21 of Danny Kazar going into the pit saying, you've got to find a little bit of a buddy. If you find your mate and link up with them, you should be okay. I think that's the thing. But sometimes you've got to try and find somebody to work with, because it's always very, very difficult in NASCAR to kind of stay within that area, isn't it? And I think that's the thing. Sometimes you just have no one to go with, and then sometimes you're able to find a little bit of a teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree there. And I think that was the biggest advantage that Olympus Esports carried into the race at the beginning. You know, it was 3 guys that were completely in sync with each other up until that tragic engine blowout. And, you know, since then, you know, everyone's been sort of for themselves. You know, we have them essentially in 5th place right now, but David Van der Waals is further down, and of course Connor Craven way further down as well. Oh, very close. I think it's in the wall, but they kept it together. Oh, keep it together, please don't make me jinx them.
We are still together. That was an Olympus there. I can't tell you which one that was, and if that is Connor Craven being a lap down, obviously, you know, you can continue being a lap down. You don't want to cause a wreck. That's the thing. You've got to be a little bit careful if you are that lap down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't have blue flag rules like in F1, for example, here, of course. So you can still stay in the pack as we have it once again. Look at, they're wiggling left and right a little bit, obviously, with all this bumping and with the drafting. But still, like, these tiny gaps, I'm just tensing up after the last couple of wrecks we had.
Yeah, Craven's got to be, you are right, the 1, 2, 3 is super aggressive, Mark, and he's got to be careful because he is a lap down, and we have given him permission to race if you are a lap down to look at getting your lap back, but we've also told them not to get involved with the front end. If they cause a wreck at the front end, well, that's going to be a conversation for another day. So although, yes, Connor Craven is a lap down, he is free to race here, but let's see what goes on and make sure there's no other real dramas from that front end. We see 2 of the Olympus boys there. The third one, I believe, is a little bit further back. That's the number 42 of Frederick Towler. He's got to be trying to make his way and try and help. He is obviously sitting at least 6 laps down at the moment with Campbell. And then we've got the 6 Connors all the way down here at the moment in that 52 machine. He's going to look for help, I believe. That is Danny Kazar. Con might have damage there because he's not really covering the speed that I would expect a car to be traveling on his own. He's not, considering the car who just went past him and the front pack are doing 185. He's doing 169 here, Nick. He's losing time hand over fist.
Yeah, he's losing heaps of time here. That is absolutely staggering, 20 miles an hour, especially on an oval like this, on a super speedway. So he must have elected to still save his last fast repair for later. And yeah, at the moment he's suffering from it, obviously, and not really an easy way out for him right now, since Kassar is also just pulling away from him, and no way for him to actually keep up, even with Slipstream.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? The front guys are working well. Perry knows he's got to try and jump onto the back of somebody to make that outside line go a little bit more than they are at the moment. The 16 and 19 have separated. You see them. That's Danny Kazar on the the number 16 on the back straight. Con Campbell is that 19 machine. So this front group again, 58 going up to straight green flag run now. What I will say, sitting here right now, is although, yes, you are a lap down, and yes, we do give you parameters to race, however, please don't be throwing blocks out on the people that are not a lap down, that are racing for the win. That would be an ideal scenario for me there, Nicholas.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, at the moment, he's not really hindering anyone. He's, ironically enough, he started building his own row right now, and with side drafting he actually managed to get back past his teammate on the lead lap, but it is quite close here, as we now have, oh my god, that was a very light tap, I think, and almost a wreck again, as we're constantly having these little almost stair-looking effects, you know, these little couple of columns of 3 wide just slightly staggered.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They really have to try and keep it as possibly as clean as they can. It's not the most easiest, as we've seen there either. You know, they've got to try and be relative clean, but it's always going to be difficult on a super speedway. There is just no way, unfortunately, to get round it here. It's always going to be the same kind of thing. They've just got to make sure that they do manage to hold on here and try and stay with each other. At the moment, it is not Connor Craven out in front. It is Dan Sedgley. Levi Walls is on that outside. He's got a big run at the moment there from the 01. That is Stitchbury, last season's champion from the Cup Series. You can see an indent on Walls' back bumper. Pearson's in the mix as well. Didn't think he would be there. That's the question. But as we said, it's super speedways. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, and I think honestly, looking at the front runners right now, and especially looking at the number 1, 2, 3, Connor Craven, who is the lap back, he's still the teammate though of Daniel Sedgley. So I think right now there's a little bit of team play going into it. We still haven't had the caution. We still haven't. We still have no sort of relief for the guys for a pit stop under yellow, so to say. But I think at the moment, you know, since Connor Craven actually pitted earlier, and now came out right in front of the front runners. That might have been on purpose to try and help Daniel Secchi a little bit with fuel saving while he's staying at the front.
Yeah, maybe they are going to have to. Obviously, we might, if we get to the end, have that green flag run. We are predicting around about 33, possibly to 35 laps here of fuel, depending on how their fuel saving gets on. I don't expect them to be able to save more than a couple of laps. I'd be very surprised if anybody does manage to save that amount, to be fair. I think they're going to, it's such a fast circuit, and I've driven Daytona, I've been there and I've tried to save fuel in the trucks, and it is just so difficult at times to be able to achieve that, regardless if you're only on half throttle. You know, the bit you're saving 0.2 of a litre, if that, do you know what I mean? You're not saving a lot the best of times here, and that's the thing, Nick, although they're trying to save fuel, it's a bit of a tough one to do that on a super speedway.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I'm mainly thinking not quite for distance that they're going to be trying that, but maybe just this one lap, maybe another second extra lap that they might be able to do extra, simply to get away from the main pit-based chaos, you know, so they can go into the pit lane alone, just focus on hitting their marks, no dew impeded or anything. And, you know, them just being able, oh my goodness me, and I thought the number 01 was about to crash there as he's dropping back massively there.
Yeah.
What happened there?
He got pushed out of the draft, and unfortunately for Mr. Stitchbury, it is just a downward slope.
I think that's another engine blowout.
He's got nothing, has he?
Yeah, I think he just plunged in to try and get some less rolling resistance to basically just roll back to the pits right now. But goodness, that just came out of nowhere, just like earlier with the Olympus boys.
Yeah, I think you might be right. He's just trying to roll it to get it into the pit lane. He's still got a bit of a way to go, mind you. As we sit here with anxious bated breath here, whether or not Ewan Stitchbury is going to make it into that pit lane. He has done. Can he find his pit box? We expect him to be back out and running once more. If he does use that fast repair that he's got available, I think that's one of the things he should get saved. Where's your pit box, son? There we go. He might be able to get back out if he's still got his fast repairs, but back up front it's still Dan Sedgley, Tim Perry's in there, Carl Jackolet's nestled in there, Levi Walls is in there, Paul LeMay. There's another one of the Olympus boys trying to go around the outside. That's the number 42 machine. I believe that's who is the 42? That's Frederick Towler trying to make his way forward. He's another one that's had a bit of a rough race here as well, but least, I suppose, from our aspects of it here now, they've separated out into the, almost that single file line. Nobody really trying to take it too wide.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone is just sort of shaken up there for a moment from the 01 just losing drive completely. And right to Stitchbury, absolutely fantastic reactions. He stayed completely calm, completely predictable. That could have been a huge wreck, as we saw already with our first caution.
Well, I can tell you now, Stitchbury cursed race, 0 damage and the engine blew. So that was from Ewan Stitchbury. He is now out. And unfortunately for him, his race is done. Another engine blow here as well. David van der Waals, Ewan Stitchbury so far. Are they not getting the airflow into the front of the truck like they need to? That's Terry Murphy going onto the side of the grass there. I'm not quite sure how he ended up going down on this one. Was there contact with Dan Michel? It's Dan's trying to come out. Oh, left it a little bit late.
Yeah, just went pulling out, right on the edge.
And unfortunately for Dan Michel, contact there did end up spinning out. So let's see how they get on lap 67 here. They're starting to get into that window where they might make it to the end of the race now on the fuel if they can get in for a little bit of splash and dash quick.
Yeah, but now the question is if they want to risk it already. You know, there's still a very high chance, even if the field is sort of thinned out a little bit, there's still a very high chance that there could be another caution, another crash in these racing situations. And of course, you could completely catch everyone else off guard by just running in now, basically getting your pit stop done now already. But you would pretty much lose an entire lap, and we saw already how much time you lose, even with an undamaged car, by yourself, as opposed to the field working together and drafting together.
Yeah, I think the thing is they've got to be looking out for as well is obviously if we've had a couple of engine blows, as soon as that little temperature gauge in the cars, in the truck starts sort of rising, they want to make sure that they are looking at trying to get air into the truck, because the last thing they really want to do is do what everybody else is doing. The outside line at the moment of Paul Clark, Dan Michel and Noel Jakowitz have got a wicked run. If they can just hold that a little bit more, they're going to be coming off these corners like an absolute slingshot coming through that tri-oval. They're already up past Tim Perry. Now Dan Sedgley is the next one on the lead lap here. Are they going to be able to get him as well? If they can keep holding it on, they've got momentum on that outside line.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a fantastic job right now. And Sedgley? No, actually, that's not Sedgley. That's a teammate.
I don't agree. I think I don't agree with that. That's my issue. This is where my free-spoken outwardness comes out. You are a lap down. Let them race. We have said we will let you race, but we will not let you throw blocks at people on the outside line just to protect your teammate. It's not happening if you're a lap down. So please don't do that. That is not a pleasing thought or a pleasing eye within my mental ability to comprehend that is not going to be done here. So I get the lap down scenario, I really do in NASCAR, but I don't get, as Dan Michael ends up in the wall, did he manage to not collect anybody else? He did, but he did end up in the wall on that one. Yeah, I think that me and Mr. Craven might be exchanging in some words.
Yeah, definitely, a bit more controversial, I'd say here. Obviously, you want to help your teammates, but when you're a lap down, you have to look out, how you help your teammates.
Because
to put it simple.
I think that the thing is, if the rest of the field then turned around and went, right, and just put you up in the wall, you're not doing them any favours. This is the thing. I get the lap down, and yes, you know I do, Mr. Armour Brusso. And there you go, look.
Oh, and there we go. And that's all Olympus cars gone.
With the front end of the field, and that is why we do say that as it's coming down, that is Talbot. Come on, you're a lap down. This is why we asked you not to do this. This is what drives me crazy. Okay, so if you end up watching this back, this is what drives me absolutely insane with lap cars at the front of a field. Doing things like that, we say not to get involved, and they go and do it anyway. And that is a result of what Towler has come down and done into the side of Perry, put him up in the wall. Noel Jakowitz just pushed Towler there. Connor Craven as well. Straight into Dan Sedgley. You ended up not helping your teammate. You ended up causing a massive wreck. And that, well, I can only safely say, was unfortunately the boys from Olympus's own fault on that one.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm for sure Towler came across there, but I think that might have been from a slight bump here. Like, you can see how he's steering so aggressively across. I think, look at the trajectory there. 17, with a slight trajectory to the right, hits him in the rear, and then he gets loose, goes down, and I think that might have, obviously not by itself, but I think that Towler didn't anticipate the hit from that angle at the back from number 17 there, from Jakowitz.
Well, we'll have a look. He's trying to hug the front end. If there is going to be contact, there is just about there.
Yeah. It looks to me a little bit like Jakowitz wasn't quite sure if he wanted to go for the outside lane or if he wanted to stay behind him.
But it's hard to try and overtake a weaving car. You can't do that. Levi's going to get the run out of pit lane. Oh, that was very close. I wonder how they call that one. I think Perry did get that one in the end. It's very difficult to try and overtake a lap car and be a weaving lap car. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And
yeah, for sure.
There's nowhere optional for them to take that, is there? You can't do both. You're not a Miracle mind reader. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's one of these situations where it's just impossible to completely read it in the heat of the moment, and we're at these speeds beyond 170 miles an hour, 180 miles an hour, where you're crossing such a large distance in that quick of a time. It's just barely possible to fully comprehend that, and I think in this situation, it's one of these split-second decisions where you're thinking, okay, he's going to do this, he's not going to do this. And then it's the other way around that it actually happens. You just have no way of knowing what's going to happen next. And I think in this situation, maybe Jackowitz would have been a bit better off lifting a little bit. Because in the end, like in this situation, I think he would have been able to get a better run, possibly from the next lap. Because we saw from Jackowitz often, like already in this race, he's a man that actually knows how to be in the right place in the right time. He knows how to get back ahead if he actually goes down in the field, and he's a very strategic driver. He always seems to have this sort of talent almost to pick the right lane to follow and basically move his way up in the field again. And in this situation, I think I personally would have tried to lift it a little bit, but in the heat of the moment, you have this overspeed. You want to go for the gap and you want to get past him, and it just doesn't quite work, so I can't really blame either of them here.
Well, this is the YouTube chat's contribution to the blocking situation from the back markers. Big no blocking as a lap down car. That is Bush level stuff. One race ban. Lap cars at ours should go straight to the back, especially if the draft catches them. So it seems a consensus opinion of blocking on as a lapped car was not the best choice of action.
Oh, 100%. I'd absolutely agree, and especially, I'd say with Conor Craven's move, from the inside line to the outside to block the outside line coming, like that was definitely a move where I'd say that was
a no-go. It's just not. You're a lap down. Don't do it.
It was just far too dangerous. Like it wasn't even a thing of no go. Like just because of lap down, he changed in the last moment, and with the momentum of them coming up there, like that could have ended very very badly. I think.
Yeah, I think Mr. Sedgley, if you're listening to this, which I probably will presume you are, please have a chat. Mr. Parfitt does not like seeing other lap cars jack below the apron to let the leaders past. Yes, they did. You are correct. I did see that as well, Mr. Chappell. So, lights are out once more. The pace car's going to be peeling in. Let's see if we can get to the end of the race. 73 laps gone. We've got 101 on the clock. That gives us all of 27 laps. Under green, we've gone right the way through from 48. It's up and running. It is green, green, green. Once again, Levi Walls, Tim Perry, Van der Waals, Dan Sedgley, Noel Jackowitz is in there. Carl Jacqueline, Paul LeMay is still in the pack. Terry Murphy's in there as well. Now we've got a pack forming. Now we've got Let's see. Let's just see.
Yeah, it's definitely. Oh my God! Also instantly with a 3 wide again, and even though it's a very tight gap there, Conor Craven instantly back on the attack. That is. Like he's still a lap down, but I think he's still very determined to try and make a way back forward again, one way or another. And I do think that is actually, that's 3 Olympus cars there, so still in the running to try and help his 2 teammates there.
Oh, green flag pit stops. Dan Michelle, Tim Perry, Stuart Pearson, Jamie McIntosh, Paul Clark. They've all come in as a group of 5. If they can all get in and out together, they might be able to stay together. So let's see what happens here. Pulls it on and out. He's through and gone the other side. The lead pack now with Sedgley and Van der Waals. Then we've got Levi Walls and Noel Jakowitz. That is the back marker of Coven Craven in there. So let's see what goes on once again at the front end of the field. Matty Hoyland's in there in that 44 ORA machine. Paul LeMay's dropping down to the inside. He's going to try and push that inside line. Carl Jacquelette's got half a truck going on there as he's got no front end whatsoever and is being pushed along from Terry Murphy. So we'll see what happens on these guys. Jamie McIntosh just coming out of the pit lane. And we'll see what happens once more. 76 on the clock, 101 the end here, Nick. Can we get to the end? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, that's the big question here. I think distance-wise, it shouldn't be a problem at this point. But, yeah, will we have another caution? That is the big question here. Especially, you know, the Olympus guys now basically back at the front, back together. And I think they want to keep it that way, of course. That Connor Craven is also, you know, the rear gunner for the 3 again.
Yeah, he is, and that's the thing. Let's see how this one pans out. We've got this pack further back. Paul Clark's still back in the pit lane again. Then we've got the Darren Michelle, Tim Perry. Pearson's just dropping off a little bit there, so he's going to have to try and get onto the back of Tim Perry if he can. I know Stuart Pearson's philosophy during this race was follow Tim Perry. Whatever Tim Perry does, Stuart Pearson was going to do exactly the same. So there we go. Do you know the interesting thing? It looked like all those guys had a drive-through penalty to a degree. Yes, I do understand that, but the thing is for me is there's a 50 incident point limit before that kicks in. So you know, they're not 13x. It's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the incident limit is, yes, incident limit at 50, and then it's every 20 after that. So it's not 13, Armin, there. There is a 50x limit to try and make sure that obviously some of these guys finish.
Yeah, the best thing about the ovals is that, you know, you're not going to be collecting a lot of off tracks in the meantime.
Why? Stitch, that's not right. On the session details, it's got a 50x limit. You are mistaken. DQ limit is 50. Drive-through, since when? I've just read the session. Maximum incidents. Incident warning. Maximum incidents is 50. Incident warning every 20 after. Well, if there isn't, then, oh, I'm sure that should have been. Session was made wrong. Oh, so that could be where the problem comes from. Incident count at 13. Incident count penalties every 20. DQ is 50. I've got your message. Cheers, Stitch, for that. I didn't realise that was set up wrong. Nobody had said anything right at the beginning. So there we go. Interesting one there. Now we can see that some of them have got drive-thrus coming into the pit lane. On the clock now, Nick. 22 on the clock. Let's see if we can get to the end here and see what happens with these guys as well. Terry Murphy's in there. He's got Levi Walls in front. Paul LeMay's in front of that. Carl Jacquelet is just getting a little bit hung out on his own. He's got to be a little bit careful here. He needs to stay with somebody. As an outside line there, Levi Walls tries to make the move again on that outside. I'm surprised nobody went with him on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people are kind of trying to stick with the Olympus triple and, you know, to try and make their move a bit later. I mean, the number 20, definitely very, very brave to be making it like that. But I think he's trying to catch up the side draft of the inside train and then try to pick up more momentum as he's going down from the banking again at the end of the corners, because right now that seems to be working, honestly.
Yeah, if he can try and stay a little bit closer, he might be able to get the momentum going forward, but it's going to be very, very difficult. Carl is all on his own here. He's kind of strung out in the middle of nowhere. Then we've got the Michel Tim Perry. Did Stuart Pearson... Oh, Pearson's hanging on by the skin of his fingernails. He's got to be. Literally, that draft is just about catching Stuart Pearson. He really could do with help from Jamie McIntosh, just giving him a push along here. We got Pearson there. Then we got obviously Craven's mixing it in the front pack, which I'm sure probably is not going to go down too well in the drivers chat after this. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see what goes on. But yeah, these guys starting to make a move. 20 to go now, and it's Sedgley, Vanderwaal's at the front end, and then Matty Hoyland, Levi Walls, Noel Jackowitz behind that one, and then Paul LeMay further back with Terry Murphy there again as well in the mix with the 21 machine, which is Danny Kazar, who is a lap down. So we've got 11 cars on the lead lap here, Nick, and we go into the last 20.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a very crucial scene here again. Because, you know, as we said, you know, you can now make the rest of the race distance with the leftover fuel, as we had our caution on around lap 70. But, you know, it can always still happen. We can see how they're slightly staggered there. After the last couple of crashes, you know, with the slight side-by-side contacts and the slight overlap contacts, I was getting a bit creeped out. But look at this now. Hello, number 20 with Noel Jackowitz in the 17, right behind him on the outside lane, now trying to make a push, but not quite working out yet. I think they just have to get a little bit closer together to optimize that drag a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you might be right. They're trying to that. You can see now Danny Kazar's nestled in behind Noel Jackowitz as well. The 21 machine, another back marker here. So let's see what goes on again. I think they've just got to be a little bit careful. There is Noel Jackowitz on the outside line. The outside starting to make their move a little bit here. They've got ahead of steam. Connor's there a little bit too close again to the guy in front. That outside line's pushed past the free. Are they going to take it all the way past the free so all of them can get in? You see Walls is still running. He's pulling Jackowitz along. Now comes that bottom line again. You see Jackowitz's truck has got damage on him.
I just adore this, though. I just absolutely adore it. We have the two Olympus Esports cars on the lead lap, and they have their backmarker teammate pushing them along, and actually Levi Walt and Noel Jackowitz just went, well, we can make our own train with our own backmarker and our own blackjack. And now just trying to go the high road further through, and it's actually working. That's the fantastic thing.
But they need to. That's the problem, isn't it? They need to be doing this. They've got to. Now he can go in, and Levi Walls, whether or not he chooses now to slow down that outside lane, or does he let them run as they are? That's going to be the thing, because he can, if he really wanted to, slow that lane down a little bit and just bring Jackowitz into play. But now they've gone again, the Olympus boys. Walls has gone up to block once more. He's now on that outside. We've got 16 to go. You can see all the wiggling and moving. I would have, do you know what? I probably would have likely tried to stay with Levi and push that outside line again, because you're relying on the fact you're going to get help from Paul LeMay and the 27. You're going to get help from Matty Hoyland, and you know Jackowitz in that 17 machine could end up getting pushed out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Levi Walls just kind of bailed on his train a little bit too early.
Yep.
And that basically ended up costing him very, very greatly. Like, he just barely made it into the lead for a moment, but then you have those three teammates very well in tune with each other, obviously also actively communicating. And now you have Jackowitz looking for the outside, going in front of that train, and now they're trying it again with a new lead car.
But I do agree. I think Wolves did bail a little bit early. I would have tried to pull the three through if they could. Got all three of them past them first, and then started dropping in and seeing how it went on from there. Because, as you say, Jakowitz has now taken up the mantle. He's taken up that front lead. He's really trying to go for it. And I think overall, if he can just get that push from Levi, get the push from Danny Kazar, and then he'll bring Matty Hoyland into play as well. Because at the moment, Hoyland's got to decide where he's going to go, because he's got three of the same team in front of him. Does he choose to join that outside line to try and push past these three, or does he just sit there? And if he sits there, he might only finish in 6th place.
And that's really, really difficult to gauge now. And obviously also the 44, Matty Hoyland, he's trying to gauge when he can switch over, when it's safe to do so, because Paul LeMay in the 27 is also sitting right there. He doesn't want to switch over and then potentially cause another pileup.
That's the thing. They've got a lap car of Carl Jacklett coming into this one as well. We've still got Dan Michel, Tim Perry. Now they're joined by Paul Clark, Stuart Pearson. So if these 5 can link, that would be better than trying to do what you're trying to do. Link together, stay in a line, and try and push your machines forward. There's no point hustling and bustling when you're half a lap, quarter of a lap, whatever, 3/4 of a lap down away from the leaders. You've got to try and link up and try and push each other along. Get the speed going. Now I'm not entirely sure what's happened up here, because we did duck away to the guys at the back here, but it looks like Olympus have spread. They've blocked the outside. Now we've got Jakowitz trying to come on that inside as well, Nick.
Yeah, Jakowitz tried to go for the inside, but he didn't quite make the switch, so now we have Levi Walls again. But he is losing out now. That 4 train that we have now with Jakowitz and the 3 Olympus cars is just a bit too strong right now. So without support, which he's now luckily getting from the 21, from Danny Kasser, it's going to be very, very difficult for him.
Yeah, I agree. Now they've got to start pushing through. Here. Now you can see there's 5 on the bottom, 4 on the top. If they can all link, if Paul LeMay can just get up there, that inside line might have an opportunity. Jakowitz is bailed off the top line. He's now taken up the mantle as well. If they can put a car up and a car down, they might be able to just block that outside line altogether, depending on what sort of strategy they're going to play. With 12 to go here, I think this could get very, very spicy, Nick, towards the end of this race.
Oh, not even just at the end of this race. It's already looking quite spicy, because look at this once again. Olympus train picking up some momentum, not quite able to completely shoot past as they did a couple of times before. And now contact!
Somebody's going to have an unsafe pit entry there. Now we know Jakowitz will pick up a penalty on that one. And they are still running, but I can tell you now that will be an unsafe pit entry from Noel Jakowitz. He's come down on that inside. Did he end up making contact with the outside line? I did just. Noel Jakowitz did make contact with that inside. That was unfortunately David van der Vols. So now it's down to the 2 and the 4. What's going to happen? It's really now dependent on what these guys on the inside. You've got Walls, Kassar is a lap down. What are they going to do on that inside line? Oh, Walls has chucked a block up on the outside there as well. He was like a defensive linesman there, grabbing hold of the person and just wrestling him down. And he did exactly that to Dan Sedgley and Conor Craven before he come back down again.
Also look at that at the front there. That's, essentially very, very aggressively like swooping down there, trying to make sure that there is no chance that the 21 can actually go in front of him as well. So, that is going to be a very, very close fight now. Obviously no caution, because it was not a big incident here. And the 2 cars were luckily able to catch themselves pretty much. But my goodness, this will be close. And Paul LeMay, of course, is one of the guys that's standing to gain a lot right here if he can play his cards right. Obviously, right now in 4th place, but I think if he plays his cards right, he could very easily jump up to 2nd, if not 1st.
Yeah, I agree. Sedgley, Terry Murphy's in there as well. Then we've got this Dan Michel, Tim Perry, Stuart Pearson run. Danny Kazar is up the front here. He's got Connor Craven. Now, believe it or not, Connor and Kazar are fighting for position. And at the moment, Kazar's in that 10th place spot. So if it goes, obviously, into a yellow, Danny Kazar will get that lucky dog to go forward. Paul Clark is in there. He's trying to join onto the back of the 4-pack of Michelle Pearson and Perry. But they've relied very much here as well. That drive-through situation has not helped them guys further back. But at the moment, Levi Walls, Danny Kazar, Matty Hoyland sitting in 3rd. 8 to go now. Down to the nitty-gritty. Grab your drinks, get your popcorn, sit back and enjoy this one, because it's going to be very, very interesting to see if anybody, how they do this, Nick. I'm not even entirely sure how this one's going to finish.
Your guess is as good as mine here. It's just absolutely incredible. No, and that's the turnaround. And there's the caution. That's Danny Kazar.
Yeah, unfortunately into the wall.
Oh my goodness. And I think that may have been mainly netcode there. There was some space, and I think that was just netcode turning him around there.
I do agree. I think there was a bit of a big old gap, and unfortunately for Kazar, he just got caught. Yeah, there wasn't any initial contact, unfortunately, on that one. So that may have played a big part, but that's going to bring the field back together with 7 to go. It's going to be just very, very interesting. Danny C is racing the 1, 2, 3 for the lucky dog. Yes, sorry. I know, I said that. Thank you very much, Mark. But I think, unless they give it to Kazar for the fact that he was in front at the moment the caution was thrown, Craven may have got his luck back. So we'll keep an eye on that one, and whether or not it was Connie Craven or Danny Kazar. I think, though, possibly might have been Craven, but we'll see what happens here and see who does get the wave around.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a couple of the people who may not be as familiar with NASCAR and with the rules, and especially with cautions and all that, we're not presumably going to end under a caution, at least I hope so, because there is this wonderful invention called a green-white checkered.
Yes.
Which could also complicate things again, once again, for the fuel consumption. Because obviously no one will want to pit right now.
Yeah,
that isn't actually damaged, and but if we have like multiple green-white jackets now, then it's going to be close once again with fuel, I think.
Pat Seaborn there, just unfortunately he just put a message in the chat there. He just said, I got caught up in every wreck tonight. Fast one I forgot to fast repair. First one I forgot to fast repair, then it was on for the second, I had to fix it. The third one was when somebody come up into me in netcode, and that's Daytona for you. You either get the luck or you don't, and that is exactly the situation. That's exactly with Daytona, with racing online, with anything you do, kind of rely on a lot of things to try and make this one happen. But what we can do, we'll have a quick chat with one Mr. Terry Murphy, who's sitting in 4th place at the moment. Terry, have you got me?
Yeah, I do.
It's getting a little bit hairy out there, dear sir, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 to go. Where do you see yourself at the end?
Hopefully in 1st place.
How's the race been overall in general? You had a little bit of an incident earlier on.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to lay back. I just been getting caught up in stuff, but other than that, it's been pretty good.
Do you think you can take the win with 6 to go?
Yeah, I think I can.
Oh, very confident, Terry. Well, we'll let you go there, buddy. Good luck. Let's see how it turns out for you.
Yep, thank you. Hopefully talking to you at the end.
Hopefully too. Right, that was Terry Murphy. Where is Mr. Pearson? Have we got lights still on? Or are we going... No, I'm going to have a quick chat with Mr. Stuart Pearson here as well, if he can hear me. Stuart, how are you, dear sir?
All right, mate. Yeah, doing out well. Just had a lot of damage on that last run, so just had to stick with Tim and kept on the lead lap, so...
Do you
it's not fully fixed, but we'll see.
You've been running up near the front. Do you think you can take the win?
No. I don't know how fixed my car is, truck. I think there were 10, 15 seconds left.
Yeah, but that'll be alright, wouldn't it?
Might be. We'll see.
10, 15 seconds. You've got this. No?
How many's left in the... Right, I don't know how many's left on lead lap. Is it 10 of us?
10 of you, yeah, you're the last one.
Okay, well, when we catch him, we'll see.
Alright, Stu.
It's worth having a go, isn't it? It's... Yeah, I know there's been lots of accidents, but I thought it'd been quite a fun race.
Yeah, it has.
I don't know what the stream's been like, but...
No, it's been good. We've enjoyed it. There's been some... I'm sure there's some talking points amongst you drivers after this, though. So, let's see. Yeah. Let's see how you get on. You're going to go green next time, Stu. Good luck, bud.
Yeah, cheers, mate. See you later.
See you later. Stuart Pearson, one of the admins within JPB as well. Brent Thompson, thanks for the mention. Broadcast booth, DES iRacing League will be watching and subscribing. Thank you, much appreciated to you as well. Are you just DES Racing on YouTube, are you? Because otherwise you just go over there and give them a subscribe, guys, and hit them up with a follow. I'm sure they'll be much appreciated on that one as well. A lot of free fancy jazz you can do on YouTube. Like, subscribe, turn on the bells. Tells you all about the racing that we've got coming up on JPB. Not got as much as we normally have this week, but it is coming in towards week 13. A lot of series have finished, so we've got the BSC NASCAR coming up later on, and we've got the JTB GT4s tomorrow night, Radical Race Series on Thursday, and then we got IGP on Sundays, so just stay tuned for them ones. Start will be there. There is Barney waving. There is the guys in the front pack. 5 to go, straight sprint to the end. Let's see how this one goes here and who is going to take the victory. 5 to go, green flags up and running. We are green here for the final 5, and Walls has got a jump at the beginning, but I can guarantee he's going to get pulled back in really quick, Nick.
Yeah, you can never really get away from the big pack here as it swiftly blocks off the outside. But now 44 is changing out the inside. Rapid changing here. Everyone's just sort of snaking there after this little bit of contact. And quick reactions from both guys at the front. But Hoyland, really, really good reaction to take the lead there.
Yeah, Matty Hoyland, 44 out in front. We've got Terry Murphy in there as well in that 26 machine. With at the 20 Levi Walls, Dan Michelle in 25. Then we've got Van der Vols, Sedgley, Paul LeMay, Matty Hoyland, Tim Perry, Stu Pearson's in there as well. Paul Clark's even in there. He's obviously a lap down at the moment. Connor Craven's in there. Murphy takes up that bottom line mantle. Dan Michelle takes the nose off Matty Hoyland. Matty's gone from the first all the way down to 4th. 3 to go now. The 3 Olympus boys teamed up like 3 lions. Levi Walls sitting in front at the moment, doing a great job, I suppose, from his perspective. If his job is to go out and hold him up, Nick, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, and you have to admire the dedication to teamwork there. Conor Craven obviously didn't quite get the lucky dog, and neither did Danny Casa apparently. So really, really tricky for them in this situation. But obviously, Conor Craven has shown before how dedicated he is to helping his teammates. Now making space actually for David Van der Vels to go down 3 wide down the inside to join his fellow lead lap teammates. And now he's going to probably try and push them further up again to try and make it an Olympus victory.
Well, we've got 2 to go. Murphy's at the front with Michelle, with Hoyland, with Walls, with LeMay. Then we go into the guys behind that. Dan Sedgley, David Van der Vels, Tim Perry's in there, Stu Pearson. We've got 2 laps remaining for the dance at Daytona. Dan Michelle's moved outside now. We've got a 3 wide situation. There's a run, there's a turn. Oh, are we going to be up and running? We've not got a caution. We've not got a caution. We're now on the run here to the end of the race. It's still 2 laps to go. Now here we go. Levi Walls at the front end. He's got the 29 of Sedgley underneath. Walls is being pushed by Van der Vels. Now Matty Hoyland's in there. The white flag's out. No more cautions. It's all about go, go, go. And let's see what happens here towards the end of the final lap, Nick.
Yeah, really, really rough. I thought for sure that we would have Dan Mitchell in the running here, but very, very unfortunate there. Now it's all down to a head-to-head race, I fear. Vanderwald versus Leverhulsen is into the wall!
Oh, bro. That's not even cricket.
And I think Olympus may have just decided that win for themselves.
Yep.
But now head-to-head race in between the teammates, unless they have already sorted who will win and who will get second.
Well,
No, crossing the line.
Yeah, stay as they are. Vanderwald takes the victory. Dan Sedgley, Matty Hoyland does get third.
Those were some final 2 laps, though.
Yeah, they were. There's the initial contact by Craven. A lap down as well on a leader. He then clears into Matty Hoyland. Hoyland survives. Everybody else. Pearson's trying to wiggle his way through. Just about makes it. Stu Pearson gets 4th. Yeah. Yep.
I will say, in the last interview, Stuart Pearson, I think he definitely got a better result than he had anticipated.
Yeah, I think he
but
did.
But also, absolutely huge respect to Matt Hoyland for catching that. Because side hits like that, especially at the corner exits, at the big banked corners, at turn 2 and at turn 4, those are definitely not easy to catch. So absolutely a fantastic job then and well-deserved 3rd place.
Yeah, definitely on that one. DS will be running a truck race Saturday night at Dega. Ooh. Oh, no, it's too late for me. Hope you get some viewer love, my friends. Good job on the announcement today. Cheers, guys. No worries. Boo. Your favourite Stang. You can't say things. You can't lose if you crash the rest of the field. This is true. The team race is steady. Keep it a little bit clean, please, as well. So let's keep it a little bit clean there, Mr. Favourite. But we will bring you up the results here from this race. So let's see how this one turned out here this evening. David van der Waals is out in front. Stu Pearson. Oh, Stu Pearson got 2nd place. Oh, so what happened to Sedgley at the end there? It looked like he might have got a 40-second penalty on that one. Carl Jacqueline got 3rd, and then Tim Perry in 4th, then Dan Michelle, Levi Walls in 6th, Dan Sedgley in 7th, Matty Hoyland got 8th there in the end, Paul LeMay in 9th, Terry Murphy 10th, Danny Kazar 11th, Craven got 12th, McIntosh 13th, then Paul Clark, Con Campbell, Noel Jackowitz, Frederick Towler, and Ewan Stitchbury. And on from that, Joshua Germany did not finish. Bailiff, Oral, LeMay, Seaburn, or Stitchbury, or Towler, there did not finish either, unfortunately, for them one there as well. We can have a chat with a man that actually ended up taking 3rd place in the end. He finished in 3rd. Here was Mr. Carl Jacqueline. Carl, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, very good indeed. I've just got some noise coming over from the let's just quit the sim. That's better. Yeah, I can hear you clearly now. Let's start that again. Hi,
how did it go? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was definitely a case of never giving up. I picked up a drive-through penalty for too many instant points, which put me almost a lap down. And then I had a bit of a wreck, and the car was very, very poorly. It had a 5-minute optional repair that I didn't take, and steering was sort of 45 degrees, and it was slow, but it seemed to come through right at the end. Yeah, never give up, keep going.
You are aware you finished with half your car missing on the front end, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay, just check it, because there was literally most of your car gone on the front end now.
Felt like it.
Yeah, you had nothing. I'm physically telling you. It's on my screen. If you could bring up the shared screen, you will see what your physical car looked like towards the end of that race. So
get 3rd with Daytona with the front of your car missing is pretty awesome.
I agree.
He lost half his bodywork, but he never lost his spirit.
That's Carl. They may take my car, but they're never going to take my third place. So,
yeah, you know me. I tend not to give up. Keep pushing on. Definitely a better race than last time out, where I picked up a penalty right at the beginning, which kind of spoilt the evening. But yeah, it was the black flag for the too many incident points. I almost parked it, and I thought, no, keep going. You never know what's going to happen. And a few laps later, the yellow came out, so that all disappeared.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, we ended up, I think there was 8 cautions, which, to be fair, isn't bad. You know, I've seen races that have had 15 plus here, and, you know, I think at the end of the day, 8 for earlier on. New drivers again, as we know, this happens every league. Carl, you've been around JPB for a while, where we have new drivers come in, and then everybody's trying to sort themselves out. Who's going to, you know, who can you race with? But that's the thing, isn't it? And I think it only gets better as the season goes on, like last season did show, where you go green to checkered at Pocono.
Yeah, that was an amazing race, that was. Yeah, things will smooth out. There's quite a lot of chat going on in the background at the moment. But yeah, people need to learn a few things. That it was a 101 lap race. You know, you're not going to win it in the first couple of laps. There was 3 abreast in the first few laps, and that's just stupid.
Well, yeah, but as I say, we'll get there. People will get there. So let's see what happens there as well. Carl, thanks so much for joining. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Only to yourselves for putting on this fantastic series. Bring it on.
Yeah, I can't be fully 100% responsible. I do have to give Tim Perry a shout. He's done an absolutely great job with the series as well. Yeah. So he's working his little butt off as well. So fair play to Tim Perry. Massive shout out to him. Carl, thank you once again there, buddy. Cheers for joining us. And we'll see how you get on as the season goes on.
Yeah, see you at the next one.
All right, man. Take care.
Ciao, ciao.
That was Carl Jacklett. We can have a chat with your eventual winner, Mr. David van der Vols, if he does go and unmute himself. David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well done, sir. Congratulations on your victory there. How was that out there for you?
I mean, it was a race. I could tell you that much.
I agree.
Being 2 laps down in the front, or being 2 laps down in the first stage to coming back that far, I think it feels good.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, you took the victory there as well. Probably helped from a big old collision towards the end of the last lap there as well. It's a tough one because I don't want to take anything away from your victory, so I'm not going to. So well done for you taking that victory as well. How do you see the season going for you as well? Because we've got some tough tracks coming up.
I mean, these trucks can be a bit disturbing to drive every now and then. I think you can kind of see it today that, the racing is hard and not always clean. Definitely from, I think, just everyone's side, it's just getting used to each other, getting used to the car, getting used to how we're driving on speedways and stuff like that. The racing last week wasn't super great either, but I hope it kind of evens out like it did with the Cup Series last time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's what I said to Carl Jacklett as well. At the end of the day, you've got to look at the fact that obviously you're bringing new drivers in. People have got to learn where their situations is. Lapped cars have got to learn where their situation is as well, because obviously, we had some lapped cars involved in incidents, and one of them was on the last lap as well. So you've obviously got to look at that situation. But I think it will settle down. It did do last season, and I think it will this season. We're off to Charlotte next time out as well. 134 laps there. How do you see Charlotte going for you?
Charlotte's a tough track. I think the tire wear is difficult to manage on that track as always. I mean, I haven't had too much experience in the truck series yet, so we'll see how it goes. I think the super speedways often are my strength. Like they're my piece of cake, and yeah, these shorter tracks or the mid-sized tracks, they're just very difficult to handle.
Absolutely. I do fully agree. David, well done. Congratulations on your victory there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to shout out all my teammates. I think, like I obviously haven't seen all of their driving. You can trust my word that they're not intentionally wrecking or like sickening the race for everyone else. I think as general, we just should all look at the racecraft and have a reflection, all of us, and we'll just have a look how it goes throughout the season.
I agree. All right, David, it's been a pleasure talking to you as always. Have a good one, and we'll look and see how he gets on at Charlotte.
Yep, have a good one.
And well, there you go, Nick. I think that the thing is, as well, I got from that interview with David that there was also kind of a recognition that had been some issues for their team within the driving standards. I don't know if maybe that was just me.
I think, the thing is, in these situations, as I said, it's very, very easy to make a mistake in racing situations here. It gets very narrow very quickly. At 180 miles an hour or even faster, as we saw here, you very quickly run out of road, and then you can very quickly make the wrong decision. You don't always make the right decision, and it's very, very easy to make the wrong decision. And I think when it's, three cars of the same team, it's basically inevitable that it can sometimes just look absolutely horrid, to a bystander, who obviously, as a spectator, it's always more difficult to judge compared to what's actually going on in the head at the moment.
Yeah,
in the actual car. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I feel, as the season goes on, it does obviously get better and better and better and better because it's just the way it has worked. We did it last year, as I say. I think the last 4 races were pretty much green. Obviously, they didn't have stage breaks in and was last the length wasn't as long, but I believe it was a lot cleaner towards the end of the race, and I expect this one, Nick, to go probably exactly the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some great development here throughout the race. We saw a very, very long stint where we ran actually without any issues at all. So I think into the next round we'll be carrying a strong spirit.
Yes, I agree with you. I think you are correct. So there you go, guys. That's going to wrap it up from us up here in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us. To everybody that has come through, there has been so many. I can't read out your all, and normally I do go through and spend as much time reading you all as I can, but there's been absolutely loads of you, so it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board here. Join us later on for the BSC as well. Let's see if we can get less than 8 cautions. A little bit of a challenge there for you, Mr. Armour Brusso, as the BSC do visit Pocono and see what goes on. It's round 1 of their summer season. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Nicholas Hillebrand for this race. So take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.